push, you gotta push the red and I'll turn green. There you go.
So just give me a second to set this up to go
Pretty
live.
fancy speaker thing.
Couldn't get the internet to work. I think they disconnected it, so I have to hotspot from my phone. So we'll see if that works. Okay, Mike, we're good. Let's go.
Hi. Can you hear me now? How do you know if this is working?
I know it's working.
Okay. Good. Modern technology. Can't see a damn thing. No, I'm going to have cataract surgery next week. I'm supposed to wear glasses until
So you ready to start? Go. You're already late.
Oh,
You're
am I running the business?
You're running the meeting, Mike.
Okay, I'd like to call a meeting to order at whatever time it is, 3:10 at the Toledo Senior Center. Jill, do you have anything, any minutes or whatever from the last meeting?
Are they in your
Madam
packet,
Secretary.
minutes from last meeting, or this is a special meeting, so you
Oh.
don't have to approve minutes.
Okay,
They're just
all
talking about that certain park features.
Okay, forget that
Just
then.
the
Let's
jail
move to item 2
That's
then.
all we're talking about.
Toledo Jail Improvements Recommendation from Toledo Common Ground. Do we have a representative from that group? We do. Would you like to introduce yourself? Well, welcome, Brian Dennis of Common Ground.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, Brian, you want to give us the scoop?
Brian, I can't hear. I can't hear.
You can't hear, okay, just a second.
No, I can't hear you.
So Brian, we are going to.
About now.
Yeah, perfect.
So the next phase going forward involves soil delivery, donated plants to get put in the ground, and the water hookup. And so that's probably going to cost us about $600, and I think that we can fund that and source that through community members. And then the next phase, I think, is when we'll be asking the organizations for help.
Okay. Are you going to go over the paper that we all have in front of us, review of garden design, jail building, all those points?
Well, Brooke Acosta is on the, has designed and has emailed out the design. So Brooke, do you want to take it over, talking about the design?
Sure. So I sent it just yesterday. So has everybody had a chance to review the design?
I got it about 15 minutes ago, so I'm looking
Oh.
at it, but I haven't really been in depth with it. Which, it's fine, go ahead and talk about it, but no, it did not get out as fast as you think.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was supposed to get it in last Friday, so that's totally my fault. So I apologize about that. But anyways, it is a food forest themed design. And I think I have everything in the legend to sort of help you navigate through the map, where the paths are going to be. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can barely understand you.
So can you talk a little bit louder?
Where's the speaker?
Okay, so can you hear me now?
I can, yeah, I can.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay. Sorry, this is awkward. Um, but I was just saying that it's a food forest theme, and based on, permaculture theories, so that it will be low maintenance, it will provide food, so it will be, perennial food, fruit trees, some pollinator flowers, sort of as described in the agenda. It should be low maintenance and multifunctional. Um, so I guess the purpose of this meeting is just to make sure that the board approves this plan and to be able to answer any questions about the design so far.
I think this design so far looks great. The only thing I'm concerned about is the rooftop of the jail. Are we worried about people tromping on it?
We have talked about that. I know there's been some different ideas thrown around as far as even seating on top of the jail, but that doesn't seem feasible right now without like some kind of fully engineered review. And so what we're thinking for the rooftop is to put those lightweight succulents to try to make it beautiful and also to kind of deter people from going onto the roof.
Okay. Can they function with little enough soil that we're not worried about the weight?
Yeah, no soil.
Okay.
It would be really lightweight and very low water needs.
Okay.
Brooke, where are you getting the water from?
Well, there's water right by the park, and the city is putting in a spigot right by the jail building. So we'll be getting water from there.
It'd be drip line and that kind of thing, or do you have to go out there and?
No, yeah, we're trying to make it as low maintenance as possible. So Brian had reached out to Alicia Spalding, who's the Nature Nurture Pharmacy woman and also responsible for the Winlock Community Garden, and she's going to irrigate the garden for us. So it certainly will need to be checked on every now and then, but the goal is to make it fully automated with timers, and so it'll just need to be checked on for any leaks, make sure everything's working properly, but not hand watering for the most part.
Brooke, this is Michelle. Are you still looking at some kind of a water feature design that comes from the top to the bottom?
Yes and no, yeah.
Yeah, so the water feature would be in the phase after we get the plants in, Michelle, and we're gonna have to determine what design we would use for that and pass that by city council, and also see if we can budget for it. But Mike here has a experience in this and has done it a couple times, and he's shown us pictures of stuff that he's worked on, and it looks really cool and pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, I just know that with the area that you're looking at for something like that, with all the other forested trees and whatnot, you're going to have a lot of stuff in it that will be blocking it possibly, that I don't know if that's a good idea.
Okay,
Just
yeah, that's a
thinking
really
of
good
overall
point.
design, you know,
Like from
Sure.
pine needles or
all the, yeah, the
Yeah.
pine needles, the maple leaves, all of that. There's a lot of, yeah, cottonwood. There's a lot of trees in that area, and that's going to be dropping in there.
Right, that's a really good point.
Is that something we can add later if we want to? Can we make sure that the water's in a location that we can feed over to it so that in the future, if we figure out how to manage some of these, maybe after a full season out there, we can see how much is actually dropping in that area that we would need to be concerned with?
Sure, I think that's a good plan, although I could probably speak to this more than but though the one very cool design that was just would be on one level, it wouldn't be water falling down to the bottom, did have a roof on it. So I think
So what she's saying, Brooke, for some reason you're fading in and out. The
oh
design does have a roof over
yes.
it.
I was just saying that Mike might be able to speak to that more. We looked at one specific design that was really cool and it had like a cedar roof
Yeah, I
on
think
it. So
we're kind of losing you, Brooke, for some reason.
okay. I don't know why that is.
Okay, now you're clear. So I
Okay.
think what you said is that Mike might have a design for that or something that do you want to speak about? And then Mike, if you could put the Mike, put the mic closer to you.
Yes, there is a design that is made out of whiskey barrel and does have a cover over it. It is self-efficient. You would have to recharge the water once in a while, obviously for, evaporation and whatnot. And you could screen the bottom of it to keep most everything out, but still, the chance of getting some debris in there it would have to be cleaned and looked at once in a while.
Is there any thought of using the water that falls onto the roof of the jail to feed the water feature?
Probably would, it's a pretty small roof, so probably wouldn't collect much. We could design a rain catchment system around that. Again, this kind of all goes back to not knowing what we can and can't do with the jail. And so, but yeah, rain catchment system would be easy enough. I don't know if it would be used exactly as watering. You could show, like it could be an exhibition almost of rain catchment, but I don't know if it would be really that good for efficiency or no maintenance, like is what we're just talking about, the debris in the water would also be present in the rain catchment.
What is the size of the jail?
I don't know.
It's pretty small. I want to say it's like 16 by 20.
That's the numbers I have in my head too, so
Okay.
that's probably right. Yeah.
Grid of the map that I sent, the design is 2 feet per square. And it's roughly 2 feet per square.
And then one thing, I know that when I looked really quickly at the design that Brooke had is that there is a concrete post that's down there. That is actually the corner marker. So a lot of her design goes beyond that. So we're probably gonna have to shrink it down inside what property the city actually owns on that side, because we don't have the permission from property owners. And with that property not knowing what could be happening in the near future, because the family does not live there, if they're going to be selling it or what, I think we might want to keep it just on the property that we know that the city does own.
Are you talking about the portion?
I am.
Yeah, as of now, we're gonna be putting the design that Brooke put together into the ground that was already dug up by Mike. That does not go beyond even the concrete pillar. We're actually,
Okay, her design did show that concrete thing and it did go beyond.
Yeah. Yep, it did.
So that's why I want to make sure
Yeah, yeah.
that we're all on the
Okay.
same page. Okay.
we're only gonna fill in on the other side of the pillar.
Okay, I like the idea of the whiskey barrel fountain because we have the barrels in Steamboat Alley and I like that that ties into it. Also relating to Steamboat Alley, Mike brought up earlier that there is a bench that's sitting over at the maintenance building that was supposed to go in Steamboat Alley. But I don't actually have a good location for it with the pavers, the plan for those the way it is. So do you guys want that bench for this park?
We would like-
Yes.
Yes.
It's a nice metal bench. It has, I believe it's the one with the steamboat cut out of the back of it. There's a matching one that doesn't have a steamboat. It has, I think, deer that's in the Gosford or Eagle Park area. but it's there, and that way you guys don't have to raise the funds for it.
That'd be excellent.
Okay.
Really nice finishes, like the metal art.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
The big thing is that I need to bolt it down, and I can't figure out how to do that with the pavers that are going in, so yeah.
So is that something that I can bring down and kind of stick inside the jail then? If that would get set up? Yeah, perfect.
I really do need to find out what we can and can't do with the jail.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who has that information?
yeah.
Well, that's what we're here for, is for you guys to kind of make a recommendation to the city council.
I thought there was a problem with the engineering of it, that the foundation was starting to sink in one corner. Is that not the case?
There is some foundation issues, and Brian talked to somebody and they said it, for an engineer to come in and take a look at it, was going to be $1,500 or
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So I know that the city doesn't want seating at all up on top of it. And Mike is the public works director, so they're going to kind of look at any recommendations. So I'm hoping if Mike has any concerns or issues, he brings them up in here, you know, for you guys to ponder over too. And then the whole idea is that what you guys approve will go towards to the next city council meeting for them to approve.
What's your assessment of it, Mike?
I would not put anything on the roof except for maybe something very low. I wouldn't plan on trying to do anything up as far as ceiling. It is cracking, it's concrete, it's probably not good. As far as going in and out of it, I don't know what the plan is for inside the jail, or if there is any. But yeah, I would think, you know, maybe patch up some of the cracks and stay off the roof.
Okay.
And should be okay. Try not to hook anything to it, you know, as far as like bolting things to it or whatnot. You know, obviously under stress.
Can we store some maintenance stuff for the park inside of that building and feel confident about that, like any sort of harvesting stuff for the food forest type thing? I don't know if we need to keep it on site, but I would assume that we would probably want to, especially if we're doing an educational component with it.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think that would be an issue as long as you didn't like disturbing the structure.
Right. So that would be very beneficial to common ground to have a storage place in the middle of town. We would have to get the gate fixed though, because it took me and Dan from Bonanza to yank it open, even unlocked. So the latch, the lock needs to be fixed somehow. And then there's some stuff inside.
Brian, is it because it just hasn't been used for so long that it's sticking, or is it because the building has shifted?
I would probably guess the latter, that it shifted and it made it.
Is that a metal door?
It is.
So the heat will expand that door too.
Sure.
I know
Yeah.
we've done different things down there in the past, and I know we couldn't get it open one time, and the public works had to like spray some, I don't know, WD-40 or whatever it was on it and kind of work the door a little bit. And then when we were going in and out, it was fine. But now I know it hasn't been used in like
Right.
years, and so that's why I was wondering if that was part of the issue.
Yeah.
Again, that it just needs to be
Does it
worked a
need
little.
new door? It just needs a new latch, or it needs a new replacement of where the latch sits. So just so it can be easy, because I have a lot of volunteers that aren't exactly.
I don't think that Mike's gonna want to move anything though, because I think then we have that the whole jail could come down.
I think we just need to go over and do an assessment on the door and see exactly what's wrong.
Sure. I bet you on the latch, if we could just, I don't know if we can grind the inside of it to make it a bigger thing.
Yeah,
So
I think before we get too entailed into doing a whole bunch of construction.
yeah, because having
You could just grind there or whatever. I mean,
having storage there would be very nice.
Okay, so I think we should recommend that we do an assessment of the door, and we figure out if that's going to be a usable space, and if it is, Common Ground could use the storage facility. So I think that we should recommend that Common Ground be able to use that for the storage of materials for the gardens in town that they maintain. Does it need a fresh coat of paint? I thought we did one just like a year or so ago. It does? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we're replacing everything else, we get that paint job.
Okay.
And Brooke was thinking a different color than white, what color were you thinking, Brooke?
Yeah, just something more neutral. I was thinking like either some kind of beige or a dark gray or a dark brown that will just blend in a little bit better with the garden scene.
I'm okay with beige. I'm loath to put dark gray in there or anything that's going to make that space feel more oppressive and depressing in the winter time.
Okay.
So anything that has at least a bit of a brightness to it for when it's very gray all winter and those trees are bare.
Jailhouse blue.
Jailhouse beige.
But
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the idea of a mural on the side of it. Do you have an idea for content of that?
So I've been talking to a guy named Bradley Cart. He just finished a mural in Centralia. He's Boone's sister's boyfriend. He's excited about it. I think I want to go with a pollinator theme just because that's the angle on it, and it would be on the side of the building facing City Hall. So, and he was excited about it.
That'd be awesome. I would love to see that. Can we get him to do a design?
Yeah.
Perfect. Can we put in a pollinator display of some sort, bee housing or insect hotel, something along those lines?
I would like both of those. And then Brooke, you had something to say about that too, right? The pollinator signage.
Yes, so I mean, the whole thing will be fully functioning as a pollinator garden as well as a food forest. They kind of go hand in hand. And I have reached out to Lewis County Master Gardeners to see if they would be willing to install some pollinator nesting habitats. Things like mason bee houses, bat house possibly. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a line on a mason bee house that you can actually see inside as they're building their nests. If there's any interest in that.
Definitely. Yeah, because I was also thinking it would be really great to be able to put some kind of like a informational sorry. Like an informational little space where sort of like you see at the state parks.
Yep, I have a line on that too if you want. Crown Bees has a really good outreach program.
Oh, I've seen that. What is it?
Crown Bees.
Crown. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I agree. I think that would be a really great added feature to do the pollinator habitats.
So Brooke, I had a quick question. So on your design, it has some kind of vine on the side of the wall that you want to do the mural. So how tall would that be then? Is it going to be blocking the mural?
No, that was sort of a plan B if we couldn't do the mural.
Okay, gotcha.
I remember when we were initially talking about what came Steamboat Alley, to make it hop alley.
Correct.
Yeah. I wonder how hops would fit into this.
I'd rather have a mural and the hops will block it.
Sure, yeah, I'm not saying it instead of a mural.
To do what in there? Sorry.
Hops.
Oh yeah, that's really, yeah, very pretty.
Had some kind of a trellis or something.
I think we could do something like that over the top. It would just take a little bit more maintenance to keep it pruned and trained like over the top of the mural.
The planter section?
I'm sorry, what?
Jamie was suggesting if we do that over the arch trellis in the planter section.
In the front?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely we could do
is that what you're thinking? Okay.
something like that. It's a pretty small space. So I was thinking something more like clematis, but we might be able to do something more like grapes or hops.
Oh, I like clematis too. Yeah,
And I think as far as like choosing every single plant, we'll definitely need some flexibility in choosing, you know, what we put in there. Knowing that it will be a food forest and most of the plants should be edible and or pollinator friendly.
So are we getting away from the whole idea that this is an old jail? Really? I mean, it's just a blank canvas. It has nothing to do with being a jail or historical jail because, I mean, that's what it's always been known as, is the Toledo Historical Jail Site.
Well,
So-
I don't think so because in fact that kind of brings us to another point, is naming the park. And it, you know, it seems like we could name the park, you know, basically the city, what is it, the,
Right now it has a name. It's the Toledo Historical Jail.
well, on the sign it says, I think it says Toledo City Jail.
Yeah.
And so if we just added park, I mean, that would keep the history. And I think we could still, you know, at cheese days have people come in and that sort of thing. I think that would be great to keep that historical relevance.
have information about it for it to be historical, or are we just saying it's historical because it's old?
There is a sign in there
There's
that's
information on it, yes.
Can we get some sort of signage that talks about it that's out in the area?
There is a large sign that takes up half of the front of the building, but it kept falling off and there's misspelled words. It was a Eagle Scout project.
yeah, no, it's the sign is really neat. In fact, it kind of draws people in because you have to look through the door to see the sign. And I mean, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but also
Go
it's not
from the street.
You're deformed jail inmate person. And I'm not sure we want to keep that.
That was something that I actually did up, and the cheese, because we did pictures down there during cheese days to raise money
Is that what it's from?
for, yeah, because you could put your head up there inside it.
Oh,
And then
okay.
we had, I don't know if you remember Polaroid cameras, but we had a Polaroid camera and you get your picture taken, and we had like these little things that they were taken to jail because they let their swine run at large. We had these little proclamation thingies that we would give to them too. And like I said, this was a long time ago that we did do something, and we had like, it seemed like we had we didn't have to have the black and white shirt because they would stand up on the thing and their head would go on that and they looked like the little inmate.
That's why
It
looks
turned
weird.
out
Okay.
larger than what I anticipated. I will give you that too.
No, but now I understand what it is. Because okay, yeah.
And so then, I mean, they just kept storing it in there year after year because it's heavy, and so they only used it at the jail, so they just stored it inside the jail.
Okay.
And there's a little, I think, mouse with a block of cheese too for small kids to put their head in.
Okay, yeah.
And if
I
we-
knew that
But it can get rid of. We could get rid of it.
If we had access to the inside of the jail, that would be something that we could actually expound upon too, like just have a couple more of those cutouts, and people can, when they stop at the jail, they could also take pictures there with their kids.
Or we could get rid of them.
Or we could get rid of it.
I think people like
The biggest fan.
I didn't mean to criticize your work. I just didn't know what
Thanks,
it was.
Jamie.
I'm sorry. I
I
did
see
not
you out
mean to
there
make
painting
you
it.
sad. I did not mean to. I'm so sorry. I just didn't know what it was. That's on me.
I see other items to budget, garbage can and dog poop bag dispenser. Any thoughts on that?
I priced it out actually all day, like the matching dog food dispensers that we have in the park.
Jill, I'm sorry, can you speak?
Just talking to the speaker so that Brooke can hear you.
Okay, so the dog food dispenser that matches what we have done in the city park and boat launch, it's, for the same company that we get, we have certain bags for them. And so it's like $150 for that.
Okay.
And then, the garbage can will have to be, so it can be put down somehow, so it, not walk away. And those I priced out at between $300 and $900, depending on your style of the garbage can. Because you
What?
you have metal ones down at the boat launch that don't have lids at the top and they fill with water. I don't want that, so we need to have some type of top over it.
At least that's what the Public Works prefers.
Yeah, no, that's
Get a little heavy with water.
yeah. What's the price? Sorry.
The trash cans, depending on style, were $300 to $900, and then the dog thing was $150.
Okay. Thank you for price.
Yeah.
Question I had about for the budget is that I really like the table in the gazebo with
Is the garbage can management something that Bonanza would be willing to oversee?
Dan's very excited about the project. Possibly, I don't
That's what I
know.
wonder.
It probably depends on what that means. Yeah, but I mean,
Well, and that's going to be, I guess, part of the issue is if people are outside eating at Dan's, is this the garbage can they're going to use? So it's going to be mainly garbage from Dan.
That would
Yeah.
be my assumption, especially if he's planning on doing event stuff in that space.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah.
maybe we could just put it upon him for garbage service or approach him about our concern.
Yeah.
well, we'll
You know,
have
we
to
won't
ask
put a
him.
can there, but if he's willing to take care of it, we would.
garbage logistics wise would still want to add one there, but then he would put it in his dumpster is what we're asking him. You
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine he'd be okay with it. I don't know.
I mean, quite frankly, a lot of the left side is on his property,
Right.
and he's okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's excited for it. He wants to see something happen there, you know, because he wants to have more event type things there himself, and so he wants a nice spot. So,
How are we going to handle seating in this? There is not a ton of space. I know that you're going to have a bench in there. Are you planning on having other seating somewhere?
Brooke, did you hear that?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. Because I just went on and on about a seating thing, and I don't think you guys heard me. You
Yeah,
can
did
hear me now?
Yeah, you're doing like an in and out sort of thing.
Shoot.
We heard you at the beginning and then we didn't at the end of that sentence.
Okay, so the table that's at the gazebo.
we got table at gazebo.
Yeah. Try again.
So the table at the gazebo.
Yeah, we're losing you. So something about the table at the gazebo. So is everybody aware what she's talking about? I think it's the one that we have down at the boat launch.
And it's
Gazebo.
handicapped accessible, which I love.
And it
Yes.
is ADA accessible.
It's on the agenda. So can you guys price that out?
Can you see me on the camera, Brooke?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go thumbs down when I can't hear you. So go ahead.
Okay, so can you price the table? Can you price the table? Can you price the table? Can you price the table at the gazebo boat launch?
Jill, do you know the price of the table at the gazebo? No, and that was purchased a long time ago. So we will go ahead and price that. We'll have Jill price that out.
Okay, awesome.
Do you know have a roundabout figure what we spent on that? No, I don't remember it. I don't remember it all.
I do know that Esther Gordy's daughter, Chris, she came into City Hall and asked about purchasing a bench, put Esther's name on as well. Down there. Be another bench.
That would be awesome.
Well, how many benches were they planning on having down there? How many's in your design, Brooke?
So for benches, and like Jamie mentioned, you can hear me?
Somewhat.
One on each terrace of the garden.
So we're having benches and not tables, or are we having tables and benches?
One table on the very lower garden in front of the jail because it's the biggest space, and benches in the upper terraces, which would be 4.
Okay. And did you hear Jill say that we do have a donor that wants to put a bench in honor of her mother?
No, that's awesome though. Yeah. Okay.
So we got 2 benches already from today's meeting. Awesome.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and Iron King, Jill, is who did the cutout bench. If we want to have other stuff involved with that, those prices should still be in the records from that grant.
And that would be, I guess, the thing too is, uniformity. Do you want all the benches to look alike? And then, they would be different than the table and potentially the garbage can.
I mean, if she's putting 2 on each,
I like uniformity of having Iron King, do something. I love that idea, but there's going to be old style versus new style at the old jail food forest
yeah,
thing.
I don't think they all need to match, but I think if we're not going to have them match, we need to have the cutout one sitting somewhere else so it doesn't look like it clashes with the rest of them.
Yeah.
I would think you'd leave the table concept to Ed and Chris. Because they're the ones that are gonna have any reason for using tables.
Oh, absolutely not. I would come and have lunch.
We've
down
always
there.
had a table down there till, 6 months ago?
Yeah, I can't eat my barbecue.
Yeah.
Dan has his own outdoor tables already. And he knows the idea of the play. They're not exactly seated just for that. Yeah. So at least he's.
None of what I have seen of his stuff though is ADA accessible, and that's important to me that people be able to use these spaces.
Right. Yeah, so no, I didn't mean that we're not gonna use Dan's table on the terrace. Dan's gonna have his things next to it.
Well, on the terrace is how we need to do ADA to have a roof or our chair.
If you have one that's an ADA accessible, that's very correct.
Yeah.
I know that when this first started about too, it was kind of mishmashed together a little bit. There was a plan to begin with, and then things changed from that original plan. But when the terraces started to develop, and Brian had come to us and said he would like to see, seating on each terrace, there was a concrete table with chairs that's down by residents at the park, and the mayor thought that would be a good fit for the plan, and so he purchased it for that too. So we need to figure out if that's going to be used or not.
Yeah, I mean, he paid $25.
It was, yeah.
Your thing is off.
He paid $25 for that. I wonder how long it was off. You were just fine.
I just want to make sure it's accessible, even if we have to pay more than $25 for it.
Yeah. Jamie, I like that
About
because
tables at the other
can you guys
areas.
hear me?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
go
me?
ahead.
Okay. I like that too because I was feeling like most of the garden, because you have to go up and it's terrace, that it wouldn't be accessible to some people. So yeah, we definitely need to make sure that at least ground level, it's accessible to whoever. That's it.
Okay.
I do have a question about the wood chip path. How often, I know like for
Talking to the speaker.
for the park board, we have to have, I've got be left because of insurance and stuff, but the stuff deteriorates quite often. Who will maintain that in 3 years, 5 years?
There's gonna be maintenance that's gonna be required to go in there to check out everything.
Yeah.
It being a food forest too, and us having some annuals mixed with perennials, it's gonna require taking in and out plants as well. So that's on the bigger gardens. This will be our biggest garden that we have, but on the bigger gardens, they all require maybe gravel being put in or mulch laid down. So I guess it's like the other gardens but bigger. So and wood chips can be sourced around here, and we're gonna do like the more decorative wood chip path. It's not just gonna be just forest waste mulched up. It's gonna be like white alder and or birch, stuff like that. And yeah, that will have to get replaced. And yeah, exactly. But it looks very nice, yeah. So, and you don't have to add as much when you fluff it. You know, just do another layer on top of it too. So that'll just be another part of the ongoing maintenance with it.
That Common Ground's willing to accept.
Just like all the other mulching and stuff like that, all the soil re-upping and stuff like that.
That's what I was wondering about.
Yeah.
Who's responsible for maintaining that in 5 years?
Yeah. Well, so in 5 years, I can't say. I can tell you this year I will. I'm gonna be on this garden for at least the next year, maintaining it and going through it. And then after that, then I could possibly get somebody else to take it over and go on to the next big garden that we do, or whatever.
But it'll still be Common Ground overseeing it. It just might not be you personally.
Exactly. It'll be a volunteer.
So, I mean, I'll be the devil's advocate. I do have concerns too of maintenance because I see other things that are done and not maintained, and it doesn't look good.
Right.
I mean, when you go into the city park right now, there's a bunch of weeds and stuff that were coming up through that entryway that was all redone. Up by our sign park thing, where the Oregon Trail Marker's at. They went in and somebody went in and redid that. And I don't know if it was I think it was Common Ground people. I don't know if they were called that then. It was a part of Vision Toledo though, Common Ground or whatever. And did it with a bunch of stuff that's hard to maintain. And up until probably 2-3 weeks ago, it looked awful.
Yep.
It looked awful. So I'm with Jill on this too. I do have concerns on maintenance, and I like Brooke's idea of very low to no maintenance. So if there's things that have to come in and out every year, that kind of raises a red flag for me.
Yeah, well, they all require things to come in and out every year, and they all require a volunteer's touch to it. So just like all the volunteers that I have, sometimes they do really good, sometimes they don't. That's something, and I got enough volunteers to be assigned per bed, but sometimes somebody will drop off the map and I gotta track them down, do it. And I'm not gonna volunteer myself to be like, okay, this guy's slacking, so I'm gonna go take care of it. I'll correspond with them.
Right.
Or something like that.
But this is something we need to look out for, 5-10 years down the road when, we don't have Brian Dennis in charge of Common Ground and doing a great job you're doing.
I understand
that. Okay, maybe Common Ground totally goes away. I'm hoping not, we never hope that, but there is concern because you start getting all these places that look trashy.
Sure. Yeah,
I think it's rougher this year because of coronavirus too. Everybody's patterns got derailed, and so I think a lot of people who were used to coming into town and doing this and would also water their planter or whatever aren't coming in at the same pattern that they used to. I don't know how we get around that. I think that's going to be a problem that would have been a coronavirus issue, even if we had it very well established that everybody did this for the past 20 years,
And I'll further that point that you may have concern about 5 years down the line. I have concern about next week. and I mean that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Brooke, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so anytime you have something operated by volunteers, there's going to be a sporadic pattern of good volunteers and then a lull. So that is just a risk that you have to take on. Okay. So that's a risk that you have to take on if you want to do these things with a volunteer organization. But what I will say about this, what I will say about the jail part is that it's not going to look worse than it did before, even if unmaintained. Even if it's not maintained, it won't look worse than it did before.
Well, before it was all behind the jail. There was nothing in front of the jail. So if you're talking about like the brambleberries and all that, that was all behind the jail.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I understand your concerns and the concerns are valid and it's just a risk that you, I think, have to take on if you're relying on volunteer organization.
Well, a lot of your plants and stuff are, like you said, though, low to no maintenance. I mean, the fruit trees, even lavender is very low maintenance. And I'm trying to think of what else. I don't have it right in front of me, Brooke. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no, you're right. And we have tons of perennials in there that will look great.
And that's like what the side that I got planted is mainly stuff
Right.
that is very low maintenance. So.
Yes, much.
So is it,
Okay. What do we do with the food?
Now that we can hear you, you have nothing to say.
Brooke, what do we do with the food?
That was a question, and I think we need to figure that out. I was hoping that we could do it to the food bank, or that we could, yeah, we should all do the food bank, but from what I've heard about the food bank, it might not be a great option.
yeah, no, I don't know if they could take fresh food.
Yeah, they could take fresh food. The only problem is that I could hear myself talking. Go ahead and mute yourself, Brooke. Can you mute yourself? So the only thing with the food bank is they only meet twice a month. So depending on when the fruit is comes into season, and so a lot of things do rot back there, and then those lovely smells come through City Hall. But possibly, and then the other option too is the senior center. I know a lot of people do donate fresh produce to the seniors, and when they're in operation, that would be a great source to, have a box of fresh apples or whatever, plums you guys have at the senior center, because those people love stuff like that. And it's hard for them to, pick and, that type of fruit anymore. So that would be a great option.
Also, at one point during this book, I'm going to ask organizations to donate, and the Lions have lines to folks who receive Christmas baskets and everything like that. So there's ways to get the food up. Brooke and I talk a lot about this because of the school garden produce too that comes out of there, and Alicia with the garden. So we are finding new ways that we can deliver fresh food.
Can I assume that this, the kind of the idea behind this jail park idea is to develop and make it possible to have this food forest? Are those two really connected, or are they completely separate?
So it's a food forest design that's going in there. It's not like this. It's not like going to be like a community garden that you're trying to get a big harvest out of, per se. No, it's
All the landscaping is edible.
Yeah.
Is essentially
I see.
in the
Yeah.
market. So we're making a pretty park, it's just that we're landscaping it with plants that provide.
Who knows, someday that may expand beyond.
Yeah, and I do want to also reiterate that, it's for, right, food, nutrition, and animals. So, I mean, we can expect deer to be coming through, butterfly feed, that sort of thing. So that's sort of the multifunctional forest park idea.
I mean, Brian's just laughing, and I mean, that's my gut on it too, is that the deer are just going to take their task, and it's going to be the vast majority of what's in there. Are we gonna try and fence off while it's growing? If so, is that gonna be like the first 3 years of it? Is just a lot of fencing?
So far, I do not have any common ground various deer tags. So far, there's been several, many deer sightings in broad first Toledo, and only a little.
Yeah, sorry, I lost you and I haven't heard anything, so if that's
We're talking about deer.
okay.
If we can put that into design, or like say what it would look like with the fence up, and if everybody still would like that.
I'd much rather see small fencing around individual plants and trees with the fencing put in there.
That's way more aesthetic to me. That's why I would think to have it around the trees.
Was about the deer. However, I was thinking in my plan, I have written down that we will wrap all the fruit trees at the very least. And then what will be planted around the fruit trees will be quote unquote deer resistant species like daffodils, garlic chives, and black-eyed Susans.
I would. And that's flat out poison to them. So I just don't believe that they care about things they're supposed to be resistant against. So, okay, no, look, this isn't a discouragement for me. It's just a question of what you're thinking. That's the entire extent of it from my perspective. Just a very small child. Can you imagine finding carcasses in there in the morning, just coming in and nothing tried you last night?
Incorporate some electricity, so we are looking into that as a cost to have some lights to deter, you know, people at night from doing any damage and that sort of thing.
Well, that would be where,
Okay, so Michelle, what do you need in order for this to go before the city council? Because I feel like we've answered pretty much all the questions that are on this list.
If all, if there's no other questions, somebody needs to make a motion to approve this plan or any recommendation to the city council.
Okay, I move that we recommend that the city council approve the Toledo City Jail Park plan as drawn with the recognition that it's going to have some, you know, minor changes to types of plants and other things as we go along. Which is to say that fruit tree is not exactly what's going in it. We talked about having it, sorry, this is not a good motion at all, it's rambling. We talked about Toledo City Jail Park as the recommended name, is that right? No, okay, let me restart. I move that we recommend that city council, approve the Toledo City Jail Park plan, with the jail building being repainted and a mural being painted on the side of it that we will get designs for, and get approval before we go further with that part. Yeah, I think that's, are there other aspects we could add to this? That's my motion.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, so is there somebody that does want to come to city council to present this plan?
When is next the council?
We have an extra week, Monday, Tuesday, the 8th of September.
Yeah, is it?
Correct, and it's held here. I guess the only question, so did you guys make a decision on paint color?
I recommended a beige, something that's brighter. You first said, is it based on, do we want to do something well next up? Mural, is that what we're thinking?
Brooke, you want to talk the color of the jail?
The background, I mean, we'll paint the entire jail the color, and then the mural will be painted on top of that.
Yeah, we recently got. Would it be better with one shade of beige versus a tan, for example? I mean.
This Zoom meeting sucks because I can't hear you guys, but I'll be more than happy to like get a few shades so that you guys can look and then approve that. Would that be good?
yeah, I don't know if that needs to be.
You guys need to lean forward into the speaker so that she can hear. You guys.
You have no preference, is what you're saying, right? You just don't want it to be white?
I didn't understand you, sorry. I don't think it should be white.
Right. So I don't think we need.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
So Brooke, are you gonna be able to zoom in for the council meeting or not?
Yeah, I will zoom in for the council meeting.